guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Helena, and today I have a very special guest on, Alex. I've been really inspired to make videos about authentic living and living true to yourself, and if that means it's unconventional or non-traditional to what most of society deems traditional and conventional, then so be it. Let's be authentic. Let's be true to ourselves. Cheers.
Cheers. Hear, hear.
So here are the 5 ways in which we live unconventionally and maybe untraditionally compared to like what modern society deems is conventional or traditional. Number 1, we don't often wear our wedding rings.
Oh yeah, I don't have one on right now.
I don't have mine on either. Now, does that mean that we are not faithful and loyal and dedicated to one another?
No.
Just because we didn't put on a piece of a ring, a piece of jewelry, an object on our body, does that mean that we are not loyal and dedicated and committed to one another? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. I get very fired up about these kinds of...
You really do. Yeah.
I get so fired up by like assumptions and stereotypes and like what we think is like right and wrong.
Yeah.
I get so freaking fired up by this kind of thing.
I think, you know, to each his own. Some people really, it's really important to them that the wedding ring is on their finger. Like we have different symbols of love, and when people wear their wedding ring, it's like they're showing it to the world that they're committed. Or
yeah, but it's like, why do you need a piece of jewelry to remind you that you are off the table and that you are faithful to your partner? Like, why do you need that?
To remind you, unless if, you know, you have wandering eyes, but it's more to show others that, hey, I'm taken, right?
But I don't feel the need to even do that because it's like, if anyone asked, I'd be like, sorry, off limits.
Yeah. Subtly that you're not interested, you know? So that could be, could be a thing.
Yeah, but we don't wear it, and it's not because we're not faithful to each other. It's just because like we're not attached to physical material possessions.
Yeah.
As you guys know from some of our recent videos, like we sold everything to move to France. We got rid of all of our furniture, all of our belongings. We have some boxes at his parents' house, but like that's it.
Yeah.
Like we do not. At least I don't want to speak for you, but I don't attach myself to things, and like I don't. Put weight on a ring as a symbol of marriage. For me, the vows are the symbol of our marriage. What I said to him on our wedding day, the daily ways that I live out my vows every single day, that is to me what matters, and my commitment to him, and showing you that I love you through words and doing things for you, and not jewelry.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's the everyday. It's the doing little things every day, communicating every day, those things. It's the living life together and being committed and open and honest and having fun together. That's the way of showing commitment, and it's not even a question. There's no need for it. Honestly, I put on my wedding ring when I put on like a decorative bracelet. It's just, for me, it's like something that's fun to wear, and sometimes I think about it, sometimes I forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wedding ring has changed a few times over the years because we bought like $100 rings. I think the wedding ring that you got me was like $85. And so needless to say, it's not really the highest quality. And over time, it's gotten really ugly looking because of the scratches and the rust.
And
it just doesn't look good. So it's just like I've gotten rid of 2 wedding rings over the last 6 years because they're just cheap, and I think
you've replaced the wedding ring. It's not like you got rid of it and you want to have nothing.
We've replaced
it. It's that you had a wedding ring and then you found a new ring that fit better, like just to replace it.
Yeah.
And so you replaced your wedding ring.
My current wedding ring is a Mickey Mouse fake diamond little rhinestone ring that we saw at Disneyland, and we got it for $25. And it was at the Mexico Pavilion. Yeah. And it was a wonderful date night that we were having together. It was super romantic, and we were super in love. And he bought me this $25 ring from, Mickey Mouse on it. And that's my wedding ring. Number 2, we have no plans to settle, buy a house, get a mortgage, live the white picket fence that so many Americans dream of with their lives someday. We have none of those dreams. In fact, we like to move around every 2 years, and we have no plans to settle.
For us both, it's like the idea of just staying in one place for more than 5 years it's very foreign, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
It's
weird.
kind of difficult.
The
It's
idea
like,
of being in a place for 3 years is weird to me.
yeah, it's like, wait, so we wouldn't have to put our stuff in storage and move? What about getting to know an exciting new place?
I love the act of going through our apartment at the end of spring and going into summer and like packing everything up and then getting rid of a lot of the stuff because it's like we can't
clear
take
out.
this, or
We clean things out, and like it's very interesting. It's like everything that you don't really need and you've accumulated over the year, you just get rid of, and it's like, wow, I can let go of all these things, and you feel a lot lighter.
yeah.
And then when my favorite thing is actually not getting rid of stuff, but when we move into a new place and the whole place is like empty, and it's your like playing ground for putting in your stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully the place that you're moving into is bigger than the place that you moved out of, and so you have all this extra space because you don't have many things, you know?
Yeah, but then you go to the store and you want to buy pictures to put on the walls, and then you just end up throwing it out because the next place you move to might be smaller. So I have found that to be actually more difficult. I prefer a smaller place because then it's like we don't feel the need to go out and shop and buy stuff for the walls, you know? I always feel that need. Every time we move into a big space and there's a lot of empty space, I'm like, okay, I want to go shopping to fill it. And then it's like, it's this constant pattern of buying and giving away, and it's just, it's not good for the environment. It really isn't.
Yeah.
Honest, my personal opinion of buying property and like having a mortgage is that's a great way to like stay stuck in a place. And a lot of people change their minds. And I think for some people that works really well, where it's like you're rooted, you stay in one spot, and some people like that. But I think a lot of people are very changeable, and we change our minds, and we enter different phases of our lives, and we want to go in a different route. And I think a lot of us want more freedom, and we want to feel more free in our lives. And one of the best ways to not feel free and to tie yourself down is actually to get a mortgage. And I think this is just like a societal program that we've learned from like mass consciousness and like mass conditioning that you should buy a property and get a house and settle down, even because it's a good, you know, investment for money down the road. But it's like, yeah, but you're paying all these taxes and all these extra things that are going to clutter up your mind and take up precious mental space in your mind. And it's like, it's a great way to feel stuck in life. It's a great way to like not do what you've maybe always dreamed of doing, which is seeing the world or getting up and moving to Europe or doing something like that, you know?
Well, as a counterpoint,
Yes.
I would say that getting a house is a great opportunity for people who don't like to travel. And I think that may be a foreign idea or a difficult idea to imagine because you love to travel so much, you love to feel free. To some people, it might not be freeing to travel. It might feel like very scary, right? Or and then if they feel like they have a house and they feel rooted, then they feel like they can travel because they have a place to come back to, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like for some people where they don't like traveling that much and they have a job where it requires them to be there for 10 plus years. I'm thinking like if you want to be a doctor, for example, and you have to stay in one place, then it makes more sense to settle down. But for someone who likes to travel a lot, or likes to have that option open at least. And it is dangerous, you know, like I feel like it's tempting to get a property and to become settled, but when you have that fork in the road, that option, getting that property means you're probably not going to do that year-long backpacking trip in France.
Yeah,
there's definitely a value in being flexible.
Yeah.
So like we're seeing this now, like if there's a problem with COVID and diseases, or if there's a problem with politics, you know, or something bad happening in the country, another country invading yours, it's good to be flexible and to be able to move around.
When Uranus enters Gemini in 2025, everyone's going to be moving. Let me tell you, I'm just putting that out there. Uranus and Gemini, get ready. Number 3, we are not afraid to solo travel and go on solo independent adventures from one another.
Yeah. Well, I guess you travel solo more than I do, so you can maybe...
Yeah, so I like to travel a lot by myself. I love it. I love being with Alex more. I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I'd choose him over my independence any day. I'd gladly give up my independence to just devote myself to you and our bubble and our world. But I love being alone, and I love traveling alone, and I love the challenge more than anything of like challenging myself to go out into the world with nothing but a backpack or a suitcase and work, with my laptop and just go to someplace I've never been before and live there. I did this recently for a week and a half in Italy. I went to Bologna and Florence, and then I did this in the fall. I went to Scotland, and I went through Cambridge and York, and I went all the way through like Scotland and England by myself this fall, and it was really wonderful. It was like 3 weeks, and it was amazing. It was such a great time. I see a lot of comments on YouTube sometimes or in DMs where it'll, someone will say something like, how do you find the confidence to do that? You just do it. Okay, so I think I'm a little biased. When I was a teenager, I would run away from home and I would take the Amtrak train or the Metrolink train, and I would go up to like San Juan Capistrano, and I would take the train, an hour north to, just go travel by myself. So I was doing this when I was like 16 years old. So to me, I think traveling alone is really easy, and it's not something to be feared. I went backpacking through Europe by myself for a month and a half when I was 20. And I was dating him. I was with him for 6 months, and then I went off by myself for a month and a half. One of the things I really want to do at some point in life is do a holiday work visa in New Zealand and live in New Zealand for 6 months. And, we would be doing long distance, but when you have such a rock solid marriage and your relationship is so good and it's so freaking solid, it's like the idea of traveling alone, it's like, it's not challenging. It's not challenging because you're so rooted with each other and you both trust each other and you're so committed to one another. It's like, for us, there's not a question in our minds. We're both incredibly loyal, incredibly faithful, and dedicated to one another. Oh, this might be a controversial one. Let's see if this is controversial. To be honest, guys, before we get into this point, I used to think maybe 3 years ago, I used to be kind of like, if a couple said that they did this, I would be like, what's wrong with you guys? Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
Like, I used to actually like think that about couples who did this, but we do it, and like,
it's great.
Our sleep is better than ever, and we sleep in different beds.
Yeah.
Not every night.
No.
Like 4 nights of the week, we sleep in different beds. 3 nights a week, we sleep with each other. Basically, I take space up like a whale, and he takes up space like a coffin. He's like a vampire. He sleeps like this, like Snow White in her casket at the end of the movie. Like, I take up
very little.
Very little
space. A twin bed is ample space for me. I don't need much space.
Yeah. And I sleep like a starfish. I'm just completely spread out. Yeah. And like, for years, it only was actually this year that we started sleeping in different beds because we have 2 beds in this apartment. And so we tried it out, and we actually found out that we loved it. But basically, like, when we're sleeping together, I will like, or I'll do like this. I'll be like,
oh yeah, the elbow is, there's the elbow.
That's the elbow. So we just find that, we sleep better in terms of like space. You're also a very light sleeper.
I'm a very light sleeper, and I have to get up early in the mornings, and it's just easier to get up and do my thing without coming into the bedroom and like, well, I do anyways, but like it's easier when I have my own bed to get up early in the morning and get my coffee and do my own thing than it is to share about it.
And I'm a night owl. I go to sleep at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like,
I'm very productive and alert and focused and highly creative at night between the hours of like 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. And so I write, I create my courses. Like, I'm working on a course right now. I'm doing I wrote my entire book at night. Like, my whole book was written at night.
I would just say, good night, I have an 8 a.m. class.
And I light some candles, and I just work. And it's amazing. That is kind of an unconventional thing that I feel like a lot of people think they need to be normal in the sense they need to wake up with the sun. When we do sleep together, I've got textbooks like everywhere. So like I have a massive
history textbook.
Art history textbook. Yes. Yeah. I have massive books, like hardcover books, and I sleep with them because I like to read before bed. It helps me unwind.
Sleep with your books more than me.
No, honey. No, never.
I'm just kidding.
Never. No, but like
there's
I have
competition.
books. There's competition. I have like 3 books open.
Mirror Socrates. There you go.
No, he'll come in the morning to like change and get ready for the day, and he'll just see me with like books open, spread out all over me, like on my stomach.
I feel like there must be thousands, if not millions of people who only have one bed and they sleep together, but they have different cycles, which is totally normal.
That has to be, yeah.
And they're just used to dealing with waking up and going to sleep at different times, and their sleep being interrupted.
There's also the mattress difference. We have 2 different mattresses in our house. One is very firm, which I like a firm, hard, solid mattress. Like I would sleep on the floor if I wanted to. Like I like solid, firm ground. Alex loves soft, and so this mattress that he has is super. Oh my God, look at that light! Isn't that beautiful? Pretty.
Oh wow!
How am I gonna get rid of that? I guess we're not.
It just stops.
Carry on. Plot twist.
Yeah.
Ooh, angel energy. It was a fairy. It was a fairy. I believe it. But you know, he has a very soft mattress, and so you sleep so much better on your mattress.
Yeah.
I feel like we're starting to like make excuses or justify why we sleep in different beds. We're not, but we're just saying like we sleep in different beds, and it's also actually awesome for us. And I used to be honestly, I used to assume, and I used to make assumptions about people who slept in different beds. I would think, oh gosh, something's wrong with their marriage. There's something that they're not subconsciously like coming to terms with. No, actually, you just like your sleep.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
I mean, like if one of the partners is forced to sleep on another bed or a couch because there's marital problems, that's one thing.
Right.
But if you actively choose it and there's no problems,
because you sleep better.
Because you sleep better, that's something very different.
Yeah. Number 5, we both don't want children, and we've known this since our early days of dating. I've gotten some comments and DMs from some of you guys about how did you convince your husband that not to have kids? And it's like, I didn't convince my husband.
There's no convincing there.
Huh?
There's no convincing there.
He was the one who told me he didn't want kids. You were the first one to bring it up. We were on our this was after we became boyfriend and girlfriend. I think it was like a couple dates after. We were on the 1 train going up to Harlem, up to my apartment in New York.
I don't remember this.
I know, I vividly remember this conversation. And we got in the subway and we sat down on the end car in the bench, and you turned to me and said, I don't think I want kids. And you said it in a way that made me think like, wow, we're so early in our dating. He's already telling me this. He must see a future with me.
It just came into my mind randomly, and I just expressed what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about relationships or anything. I was just like,
But you were like, it was like something, it was so refreshing because I had dated so many guys who weren't serious. Like, I remember there was one guy I dated for, 5 or 6 dates, and I remember asking him about his family, and he was like, wow, like that surprised me that you wanted to know about my family. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just asking. But so those are the kinds of guys I dated in New York before Alex. And so to be with you, where you told me like so early on, you had me meet your family like a few dates after we became boyfriend and girlfriend. So it was like very early into our relationship that you wanted me to meet your parents and like go out to dinner with them. And then you very quickly early on said that you didn't want kids. I just felt like, wow, he's serious about like getting in a relationship and like really like being committed. Like, I love this.
I didn't think about it too much. Just like, I'm close to my parents. Do you want to meet them because they're cool?
Yeah, but you told me early on you don't want kids, and I was
again,
so.
It was a casual idea that I had, and I didn't think it would put pressure on you or like make you reconsider anything. I was just like, this is just
no.
And again, nothing is ever set in stone or permanent or concrete.
We could change our minds. Absolutely, anything is possible.
Right now, we don't. The near future, we don't.
We've always known we didn't want kids.
Yeah.
We've always known we didn't want kids, and that's been something I've known forever. I've always known I didn't want kids, even though I love kids so much, and I'm such a kid person. I'm such a baby person.
You really are.
I see a baby, and I'm like, oh, I want one. I get so baby fever every time I see a baby.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people assume that women who love babies or love children or love families and have that kind of like that nurturing side to them, that they must want kids. And it's like, no, actually. No, it's an assumption. Yeah, we've both have never wanted kids, and we've both been very clear about that since our first few months of dating back in 2015, and it's something we're both very still very adamant about, is we don't want children.
Yeah.
So those are some of the non-traditional things, unconventional things that we do. We travel apart for fun, just because, me more specifically, but we like traveling alone. We like sleeping in different beds. We don't wear our wedding rings. We have no plans to get a mortgage or settle down or live in one place for more than 2 years. And we don't want kids. Yeah, if you want to see any more of these types of videos, let us know down below in the comments and we'll make them if it's something of interest.
If you want, yeah.
Yeah. But have a magical day. Is there anything else you want to say, babe?
No, I think you said everything very well. Yeah.
Have a magical day, and I will see you guys next time here on the channel. Bye.
Bye.